Whoa, I heard some serious Dominus love there.
A little bit of Dominus love.
All right, so we've
Everyone
got
else likes
Dominus,
bananas
kind
too.
of the favorite. He's entered the finals without dropping a game so far. Let's see if he can continue that. Dominus choosing Hunter to start us off. We're going to see his hand has 2 Hunter's marks. We're going to get rid of those against the Druid, which he does know is not the more ramp-heavy Druid, so perfectly fun to get rid of the Hunter's mark, considering keeping the Starving Buzzard.
Starving Buzzard is one of the important cards in the matchup. I'm surprised he mulligans both Hunter's marks. It is also very good against Druid, but he knows that his opponent is on the Echoing Ooze, Shade of Naxxramas plan.
And Nostam has replaced Shade into, or replaced the other 2 cards of Shade into Shade. Even just keeping 1 Shade is not a great way to start, but I mean, would you keep the Shade in your opening hand?
It is extremely powerful. Against a Hunter specifically, I don't know if I would keep it in my opening hand, but it is one of your more powerful early plays. At worst, you get to play it on turn 3 going first, which is strong.
Yep.
If you're going to draw the card at all, it's better to have it early than to have it late.
That's true. I suppose one of the reasonings to get rid of it would be to have a higher chance of drawing something like Haunted Creeper. And Nostam is getting the best of both worlds here. So Haunted Creeper into Shade of Naxxramas, an excellent start.
Dominus decides to just hero power for his turn 2. So Nostam has the initiative here. Of course, Hunter is a deck that plays from behind pretty well, as long as it doesn't get too low. So Dominus is going to be looking for a way to sort of get back in the game.
Interesting. We've got a Flare, so he can actually Flare and then Eagle Horn the Shade if he wants to.
He certainly could. And I think that that would be a reasonable play. It would be the easiest removal of it. Unless he exposes it early. Maybe he will just attack for 3 next turn. Who knows? But then you would still have to Hunter's Mark or Kill Command or something like that.
Right. I suppose one of the reasonings for not doing so would be because he might reveal it, and in the case that he doesn't, you just take 1 extra damage, and you save the coin.
So he's holding on to that Eaglehorn bow. He's really, really considering it. And he's now reaching for the end turn, so he's thinking he might want to hold on to the coin and hold on to Flare.
Right. Coin is really useful to speed out a turn, play a Beast with a Houndmaster, or get a Savannah Highmane. I've got Nostam with another Shade of Naxxramas. We're going to get some major Flare revealing stealth value here.
Yep. Nax is here for the Druid, and Nax has arrived. Haunted Creeper, double Shade. Really, really strong, really interesting deck to put them in, this Druid deck that plays them now.
Ooh, and that choice to keep the coin is going to pay off for Dominus because he is going to be able to coin out the Savannah Highmane on turn 5 if he wants to.
He is going to be hurting. He's going to be facing down a very large board from his opponent in order to do it, but maybe that will be the best way to crawl back into the game to get that much raw power into play.
Yeah, I mean, he is going to be taking a lot of damage if he decides to do that. So he's definitely considering using the Kill Command in one of the Shades, which I think is an excellent way to stop the bleeding. In this case, there's only a 1-attack minion hitting his 28 health, so he can definitely follow it up with a coin Savannah Highmane.
I think Kill Command on the Shade is as good as it's going to get, and he's considering using a Hunter's Mark and Explosive Trap. That is the alternative. But his opponent could just hold back and not attack for a turn, and then the Shade will grow.
Right.
Potentially large enough to be outside of the range of the Explosive Trap.
And then he can also alternatively trade them into Savannah Highmane, so I like that play.
He decides just to kill it. I like that a lot. Nostam now. He has the initiative here.
Ooh, if he plays Lotheb, that coin Savannah Highmane play is not going to be possible.
Very true. His opponent does have a reasonable... No, he really doesn't have a reasonable alternative. So the Spectral Knight comes down, which is going to let the Savannah Highmane come out, which is probably the most likely play here. Dominus reaching for the coin already, but he's going to consider his options. He says, okay, this is for sure the best play here.
Right. It's interesting, and I haven't thought about this much, but using Lotheb to block the coin, that's, I mean, into a likely turn 6 play. I think that's reasonable.
So now that he's drawn the Defender of Argus, Nostam does actually have some interesting options here.
Yep, he could clear the Savannah Highmane outright with the Defender of Argus.
He can clear it with the Defender of Argus, and he can clear it with the Keeper of the Grove. Both are options, and one of them, both of them probably use the Wrath, but one uses the Wrath to draw and not use Defender.
Right.
So he could silence, lose his Spectral Knight.
The downside of that is you lose your Spectral Knight. As opposed to here, you get a 5/1, which can't be targeted. Unfortunately, that is bad against Unleash the Hounds.
So would you take consideration to just bashing in for damage here?
I would, but looks like he's going to go with a even different plan, and he's just going to kill that and not worry about the hyenas and keep his guy alive. That's actually a pretty good play as well, because there's no possibility of hunters marking that thing.
Yeah, well, not no possibility, but you would have to find an Iron Decal first. And I forget if Dominus is running one or not. I know I've seen at least 1 or 2 Iron Decals so far in the tournament. But as far as deck lists go, we don't have the deck list in front of us either. So if you're watching at home, the deck list for all of the players, including these 2 finalists, will be available on TeSPA.org after the completion of the event. So,
right. And a few interesting choices they've made, so I'll look forward to seeing what their exact deck lists look like.
Yeah, some of the plans are actually really good. I've really liked some of the choices that the players have made, and some of them are really standard decks, but with a couple changes that actually make sense for tournament play.
Right.
So if you're an aspiring tournament player, sort of reviewing what they've done could give you a little bit of insight into maybe some of the things that you might want to do if you were trying to look into getting into community tournaments.
This
and stuff like
Spectral
that.
Knight right now is such a headache for Dominus. There's no easy way to get past it. He either needs to use the last charge of his bow, or, well, that's pretty much it. He has to use the last charge of his bow if he wants to get past it this turn.
And he's going to have to get past it to win the game eventually. I think it's unreasonable to try to wait. Oh, interesting.
What?
He's going to play Explosive Trap.
Wow, that's a creative way also to deal with that.
It doesn't deal with it immediately, but it should deal with it eventually. And by the look of it, it's probably going to be good enough.
Yeah, we've got an interesting play from Nostam coming up. He could, upon seeing the efforts of this hunter, like, you can use the Ancient of Lore to heal it if you wanted to.
He could have done so. It would have been certainly a reasonable play. Considering how powerful and how troublesome that Spectral Knight is, I think it would have been better than drawing 2 cards. It would have pressed his advantage and still forced his opponent to have multiple resources to kill it. Actually, I think it would have ended up at 3 life, so his opponent would have had the opportunity to attack it, but he would be at 10 life to do so.
It would have ended up at 4 due to 1 + 5 - 3, or -2, 1, 6. Right. But, I mean, 2 cards, who can complain about that?
Still would have been very good. Instead, he decides to just draw the cards, which is also good because as of right now, he is playing double combo and he hasn't drawn any of it yet. So drawing 2 cards does dig towards the theoretical win. Keeping the Spectral Knight alive, would have made him need to win with the Spectral Knight.
That's
as
right.
far as he
Which
knew.
could be possible.
Which
so
is possible,
2
but
paths, I think, both held validity.
So unfortunately, Dominus doesn't have a great play this turn. He decides to just play the Freezing Trap, which is an okay play.
Yeah.
And he knows that his hand is very limited, and he needs to use his damage at this point for damage to his opponent. Nostam, though, has, at this point, a really great hand. And even if he decides to let this Ancient get Freezing Trap, he's going to check it, and it's a Freezing Trap. He can play both 2-drops and Defender of Argus, and all 3 of them will have the buff and taunt.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of guys out for Unleash the Hounds, which Dominus hasn't revealed yet. And he does have a buzzer in hand, so this is going to be a big draw for Dominus.
Unleash would be the premier draw. It is the one that he wants to see.
Look at that mouse over the deck. He's like 2 out of 17. Oh.
2 out of 17 doesn't get there this time.
He might feel like he needs to draw into it to have a chance, and I think this is one of those chances where he has to just buzzer and go fish.
As far as he knows, his opponent could be holding Savage Roar.
Right.
And you kind of have to just go for it at this point and see what buzzer can do for you.
There we go. Not quite.
Eagle Horn Bow number 2. So now he'll have to take serious consideration to possibly playing Kill Command just to kill a minion, and use his bow to kill another one, and be at 18 facing down 4 power. And his Buzzard is gone. So
Yep.
very, very likely for Nostam to take this game. Druid, very power. Very, very power.
That's right. Tough to think of any set of draws that Dominus could do. Well, I mean, a set of draws would be Buzzard plus Unleash. But unfortunately, you can only draw one card.
Dominus is taking every consideration in terms of what he could do, or what he could draw, and what that would change about his current hand. Ultimately, he's decided that he does need to use the Kill Command to take care of a minion, and that represents his most likely way to win.
Right. Though it is hard to see a path through the perilous times ahead for him. We've got Nostam now able to play Ancient of Lore again, if he so desires.
I believe he's just going to Keeper of the Grove and shoot down that Buzzard, bash in with the other 2 minions, and then play Loetheb. He might kill the 1/1 just so it can't get Houndmastered.
Good point.
But this develops his board. He doesn't have to worry about Unleash for at least a turn. Looks like he is going to kill the Web Spinner, so he doesn't want any, both kill commands are gone anyways. Both kill commands are gone, but Houndmaster is still a thing. He gets King Mukla off of the Web Spinner.
Oh.
That is a lot of legendary gets.
That is the legendary beast trifecta.
And we have not seen the Beast.
Ah, that's right, the beast.
So we've seen Manexna, we've seen King Crush, and we've now seen King Mukla. We've seen some other beasts as well mixed in there, but I think we have not seen a single 1-drop beast.
Yeah, we've seen most of the upper tier beasts.
Yeah. We also got Direwolf Alpha, I believe.
Yeah, an excellent one.
That was a really good one.
We've also seen Savannah Highmane.
Savannah Highmane, that's true. Savannah Highmane was
Probably the best one, generally.
was probably the best one, certainly for that matchup at least. Certainly for that matchup. I believe I've gotten a silence before in a situation where it was just the best possible thing I could get. Iron Beak Owl. And it let me Hunter's Mark.
And the swipe is enough to end it. 5, 7, 9, 11, 12, 16.
So swipe, a good draw. Nostam was almost certainly going to win the game regardless
Actually, he
his
doesn't
draw
even
that
need
turn.
the swipe because of the bananas, which Dominus so kindly offered.
So kindly. All right. Nostam taking down a game with Druid. He's been really, really strong with that Druid deck. It is no joke.